Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today at the AWS Summit. My name is Pallavi Nargun. I'm a solutions architect here at AWS. In this session, we are going to rev up our engines and get rolling on machine learning with AWS DeepRacer. DeepRacer is the fastest way you can get started with machine learning. You don't need machine learning experience and you don't need a physical car to get started. Just come as you are, and by the end of the session, you will be racing on the track for prizes and glory. So let's step on that gas and get racing. So what's in the store for the pit crew today? We are first going to take a look at the machine learning on AWS. We'll then go under the hood of AWS DeepRacer car and see what the learning that makes the AWS DeepRacer autonomous and how it is able to make decisions on its own. We'll also see what the new addition with respect to DeepRacer Evo and the new sensor kit. Then we are going to get introduction to reinforcement learning. And after that, we will look into the console with virtual racing, the simulator, and the architecture of the DeepRacer. Saving the best for the last, exciting changes to the AWS DeepRacer leaked in 2021. You want to stick around for that. There are more chances to win and more chances to have fun racing. Now, back in 2018, when DeepRacer announced the support for reinforcement learning, it was very exciting times. Now, when you think about building your own machine learning skills, or for your team for that matter, sometimes you don't know where to get started. Developers typically learn by doing. When you consider machine learning, your success rate is much higher when you have hands-on learning experience. We had introduced DeepLens to give developers a hands-on learning experience for deep learning. And the Deep Composer gives you hands-on learning experience with generative AI. Now the question is how to put the reinforcement learning experience in the hands of everyday developer. That's where the DeepRacer comes into picture. The DeepRacer, first and foremost, is 18th scale, Wi-Fi enabled physical car that drives autonomously around the racetrack. And it does that by using a reinforcement learning model. It literally puts reinforcement learning in the hands of everyday developer of all machine learning skill levels. Now, we have added new addition into the DeepRacer family, that's AWS DeepRacer Evo. Evo has 2 cameras, and that allows you to handle more complex reward environment, as well as you can develop new strategies for racing. Evo can detect objects, and that's because it has LiDAR sensors. Now, LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging, and it's the sensor that detects objects, and it helps even to see blind spots. Now, the rest remains as is, as the classic AWS DeepRacer. So even if you have mastered DeepRacer before, Evo expands the learning and racing with new challenges to solve. Now, if you have classic DeepRacer, all you need to do is buy a sensor kit to upgrade to the Evo functionality. Now, if you don't have DeepRacer, you don't have to wait for your physical car to arrive. You can start in the console right now. In the console, there is a 3D simulator where building, training, and racing takes place. You can start learning now and building models to race in the 2021 AWS DeepRacer League. Or start your own league by using community racing tools where you can race with your friends or colleagues. Now let's talk about reinforcement learning, the machine learning that powers the DeepRacer. Artificial intelligence seeks to create machine that seems to have human intelligence. It's a very broad and general concept. Now, one thing the humans are good at is learning how to classify things or events and also make simple predictions based on past behavior. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that aims to replicate this human ability, and it uses statistical techniques to build models that are good at making predictions. Now, machine learning has three main categories. There is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Now, in the supervised learning, we build a model to predict a value or classify data. Now, models are trained on large amount of curated data sets that already have labels with it. One such example is linear regression. Now, when it comes to unsupervised learning, we train a model on large amount of data, but this data doesn't have any explicit labels. Models are trained to identify similarities to aid classification. One such example is clustering. Now, in reinforcement learning, we build a mathematical model that determines which decisions to make in an environment on its own without your help. The model is taught or trained in a simulated environment where it corrects action it should take based on the outcome of its previous actions. It's like training your dog. Now, reinforcement learning is built on an idea that we humans use all the time. When was the last time you used a reward to incentivize good behavior of your pet or even your children? Think about the method you use to train a pet. We give cookies for good behavior. We don't give cookies for bad behavior. The dog quickly learns what they should or they should not do to get that cookie. Now, when you are successful, your training turns a regular dog into a circus dog. Now, let's take a look at some of the reinforcement learning terms. An agent, which is a piece of software that acts autonomously in a given environment to reach a specific goal. In our case, the agent is AWS Deep Racer vehicle, and the goal is to finish the lap around a track. The environment is basically the surrounding area, and in our case, it is the track that the agent interacts with. State is the input from the sensors and the image coming from the camera. It helps you determine the current status of the car. Now, action is the decision that agent makes, whether it should change its speed or whether it should change its steering angle. The action is guided by a strategy called policy. Now, reward measures how desirable an action is. If the chosen action gets the agent closer to the goal, you should reinforce this action in future with a positive reward, or otherwise discourage it with either a negative reward or no reward at all. This reward is provided by the environment itself and is specified through a reward function. The last concept here is episode, and this is each iteration where an agent goes from start position to a termination state. A termination state means the agent has either finished a lap around the track or it has gone off the track. Now, the reward function incentivizes particular behaviors, and it is the core of the reinforcement learning. Let's look at this race grid to see a practical example of a reward function. Each square is a state, and the green square is the starting position. You see the finish line is the goal line. Now, the black squares on the top and the bottom are the track edges, and they are defined as stop states, which tells the deep racer that it has failed or it has gone off the track. Now, the reward function is an actual code that you will write, and it helps the agent to determine if the action it just took was good or bad, or how good or how bad was that particular action. Now, the agent moves towards the goal. The next state is evaluated and assigned a reward. The reward incentivizes the driving behavior you want your agent to learn. Now let's say you want to incentivize your agent to drive around the center line, that is on the orange squares. Now how would you do that? By assigning a reward value to each state. Notice that each square has a number, and through reinforcement learning, the agent or the car will learn which actions result into highest cumulative reward on the way to the goal. By assigning higher reward to the center line, where we have assigned the value of 2, the model will learn that by staying consistently on those particular orange squares will get the car the highest reward. Now, if it goes off the sides on the top or the bottom, then the reward will be lower. So eventually the car will learn to stick to the orange line. Let's see this in action. Now, learning doesn't happen just on first go. It takes some time. So there's a trial and error. The car will go through multiple episodes or multiple trips around the track. The agent needs to explore the environment and see what actions will get it the highest reward before it can exploit that knowledge. Eventually, it reaches convergence where the model starts to frequently pick specific actions based on the state it is in. Now let's look into the concepts of exploration and exploitation. Initially, the untrained reinforcement learning model will choose actions based at random to explore the environment. But over time, it will train and notice which actions achieve the best outcome. This is called the exploration. There is another state that the model will go through, and that's called exploitation. And that's when the model starts to exploit some of the knowledge it has gained to repeatedly take actions that lead to the better outcome. Now, what you're seeing right now is the first-person view of what you see in exploration. Now, the car driving off the road is very common in this phase. Now, let's talk about the training process, which in end produces a model that navigates the track for the highest reward. The car interacts with the simulated racetrack environment during the training, with an overall goal to get to the finish line by maximizing its total reward. Deep Racer drives around the track, and when it is driving around the track, it takes pictures. Remember, there's a camera mounted on the top. Now, it takes about 15 pictures per second. After each picture, Deep Racer will take an action, like changing the speed of the car or maybe changing the steering angle. The cool thing about the Deep Racer Evo is that it has stereo cameras and LiDAR sensors. So it has more in-depth view about the environment, about its state, as well as it can sense objects as well. Now, when the car ends up in a new state, it will receive new reward, or it will receive a reward based on the action it just took. Now, learning is a repetitive process. Generally, it takes about 20 episodes per track or around the track, but you can adjust that parameter using hyperparameters. Now, the more it goes around the track, the more experience or the knowledge it will collect. And at the end of the process, it produces a model. The more knowledge the model collects, the smarter it becomes, and it's able to figure out which actions in which state will give it the highest cumulative reward while achieving its goal. And that's the knowledge it will use in future driving decisions. Now, once the training is finished, you have a model that can be uploaded to a physical car, and that the car will then use to navigate the physical track in the real world. Now, let's take a look at the Deep Racer neural network architecture. Now, Deep Racer uses a neural network architecture with multiple layers. Think of it as a way to extract patterns from images and trying to figure out which actions will lead to the best outcome. On the left-hand side, there is an input And on the right-hand side, there is an action, which is the output. Now, neural network architecture looks like this. This is a simple 6-layer ARC network. Now, the first layer is an input layer. It's the image or the state. It generally is a grayscale image, and also when you use Evo, you will end up actually with 2 images, but they both are stacked together. Now, if you're using LiDAR sensors, then you will get another vector showing 90 degrees of behind the car. Now, from this layer, the captured pixels go through a convolutional neural network, which is a 3-layer CNN. Now, CNN helps identify the feature from the images that are needed to make good driving decisions, like whether this is a track border, or whether you're seeing a central line waypoint, or whether the car is on the field, or whether it is off the track. Then it feeds those features into a second neural network, that is the policy network. The policy network helps to determine what actions or the driving decision should be made, and that's the final output. So should the car speed up? Should the car slow down? Should it turn left or should it turn right? The policy network adjusts weights to help determine what actions to take. Now, weights are just the level of importance given to the input values, that is the features of the images, in order to determine the action. Now, let's talk about the Deep Racer console. Now, console is an abstraction. It's built on top of API calls. Behind the scene, there are multiple services that make AWS Deep Racer possible. Amazon SageMaker trains the reinforcement learning model. AWS RoboMaker provides the 3D simulation environment. They communicate using Amazon S3. For example, the experience that is collected, such as state, prior state, action, and reward, is generated in AWS RoboMaker, and it is used to train model in SageMaker. Now, there are several iterations of this back and forth. Now, once the model is trained, that model is saved in Amazon S3. The logs are also stored in Amazon CloudWatch logs. We also use Amazon Kinesis video streams to display the video in the console. So now we will take a look at how you can write your own reward function. Now, this reward function is the most important thing that you will write in the Deep Racer console. This is the most important job that you have. Now, you will author this reward function in Python on the console itself. Now, the good news is, to get you started, we have 3 sample Python codes that are available for you. And these 3 sample reward functions, you can use them as is, or you can use them as your base Python code to actually customize the code or change any of these lines. Now, if you're not familiar with Python, or if you're not familiar with programming, don't worry, you can actually use any of these reward functions to get you started. And then as you get comfortable with building your reward functions, or what a reward function is, you can go and customize your model. Now, one thing that you can see is that this code, the Python code, is nothing but a Lambda function. And you can, once you write your Python code, you can quickly validate the code using that validate button before you save the model and train it. Now, oftentimes when you are writing your reward function, you have many questions. How do I know where my car is so I can reward the outcome? Or how do I know what even parameters to modify? What parameters are available for me to write my own custom function? So let's take a look at the main track components first. So now from the track component perspective, you have a track wall, which is the blue color. Then you have a green color indicating the field or off track, and that's the termination state. Then the track surface, and which is on the track, and that also includes the track boundaries, which are represented by the solid white lines. Now at the center, you will see a dotted center line, and that's the track center. Now, these components are important because we can use them to determine whether an action resulted in a good or bad outcome. There are a few components that we should also look at. Now, these are the few components that are available to you, and there are actually a list of more parameters that are available, and you can find that list on our AWS dbracer documentation page. But the next 2-3 component parameters that we are going to look at, the developers often overlook these components, and that's why we want to kind of highlight them. Now, the first such parameter is our heading parameter that describes the orientation of the car, orientation of the vehicle in degrees, measured counterclockwise from the x-axis. All wheels on track indicates if the agent is on the track, and it returns true or false. Distance from the center line tells how far away the vehicle is from the center line. Now, there are other variables that you will see that such as whether the car is in reverse direction or it's progressing, how far it has progressed, what is the closest waypoint. Now, these are certain additional parameters that you can use in your reward function to figure out where the car is on the track and whether the action that the car has taken has resulted into a good outcome or it should be penalized. And you can base the reward function on that. Now, the car has position denoted by XY coordinates. And these are the waypoints that are spread around the track. Think about this as milestones. They can be used to give some hints on the shape of the track. You also know about the track width. You also know about the heading. Now, to clarify, one thing is very important, that the reward function is only used during training in order to produce the model that is loaded onto the car. Once the model is loaded on the car, and when the car is going around the track in the physical world, that's the exploitation phase. And the actions are guided by the policy and not by these environment variables. And the next action is computed simply based on what is the camera's input image. Now, there is another concept, which is the action space. Now, the action space defines the list of actions the car can take, and it is a combination of speed and steering angle. The more actions you provide, the longer it will take to train your model, but potentially you will get a better range as the car is going around the track. Now, the action space is set before you start the training, and you cannot change it once the model is trained. Now, you have seen how one can build a model. Now, let's see what are the new exciting changes that are occurring with the dbracer League 2021.
What am I getting myself into?
Welcome to another AWS dbracer Underground.
Oh, wow. OMG. Go.
So are you excited yet? There are several resources out there that can help you get started with the dbracer. And believe me, once you get started racing, you will not want to stop. You will enjoy spending time experimenting and tweaking your model to move up the leaderboard. You heard there are two different leaderboards. There is one open and there is a pro as well. And like I mentioned, you don't need a physical car to get started training and racing. You can do it all virtually. So drive on over to the AWS dbracer console and get on the track to race for prizes and glory. I'll see you at the finish line. Well, thank you for joining me on today's session and learning about the AWS Deep Racer. I look forward to many of you submitting your models to the AWS Deep Racer 2021 League. Thank you and have a wonderful day. And please don't forget to fill out the session survey. Thank you.